Greetings, Guzzlers. It's all stopped now. I'm just about to say the noise in the background. Oh no, that was the wife upstairs. The noise in the background, fireworks going off. We're coming up for the 5th of November in the UK, bonfire night. So winter, sort of. So what a better time than to have a salad. So we're going to have a salad tonight. I'm on the beer. But we're going to have a nice warming salad with beef. So a salad needs a dressing. So we're going to do the dressing first. Okay. This is a recipe I found from, I think she's written about 7 books now. And I think I've read most of them. Downloaded them on their mobile thing. Rather than actually bought the books. Well, I think might have bought one hardback. Anyway, I think she's Libyan or Iranian or something like that, and they're full of flavour and everything else. I saw this recipe and I thought the wife will like this one. And she did say she makes it with beef. You can make it with lamb. You can make it with pork. And I said, I like beef. I want beef. So we're making her spicy beef, cucumber and herb salad from her book Flavour. And her name is Sabrina, I think it's Ghayour, but I can't really pronounce that. Like I say, she's done a series of books, and in fact every single book I've seen lots of recipes. I'm thinking I'm going to have to try that, I'm going to try that. But the wife said, let's have that one, it'll be healthy. Don't know if I mentioned it's got honey in it. So we're going to make the dressing. So for the dressing, you want some oil, olive oil. You've got rapeseed oil. I've only got quite tiny limes, so I've got 2. If you can get a nice big one, you just want 1. We're going to need the zest and the juice. You want a red chilli, some garlic, some coriander seeds. And the only other thing is honey, but we don't add it at this stage. Okay. Now, we're going to prepare our dressing. Then we're going to start cooking our meat. Then we're going to prepare our herbs. Where's my beer? Of course, try to drink the coriander seeds then. And then to finish it off, you're going to want some pomegranate seeds. So, coriander seeds. We're going to start off by having a nice heaped teaspoon, so I'll add a little bit more, of coriander seeds into our blender. This is my new blender, never tried it before. Bloody thing will probably blow up on it. This can do wet and dry. My other one was actually a coffee grinder. And I use that to grind spices, but when you want to do a wet mix, don't work. Excuse me. So, now, actually this is quite a nice big fat garlic clove. So really I only want the one of them, but I'm buggering it, we're chucking the lot in. Well, I say the lot, we're chucking 2 big ones and a couple of tiny ones. So might want to give them a bit of a chop to begin with, just to make it a bit easier in that blender, because we want to make sure we're creating like a, well, we're creating a dressing, aren't we? So we want it all blitzed up. And like I say, I've not used this before, so it's a bit of unknown territory. With the chilli, it's up to you whether you want to deseed it. Okay. If you don't want the seeds, don't have a seed. But again, we're going to want to chop the old chilli up, just so that when we put it in the blender, it does at least have a bit of a head start. And then we want to zest the limes. The zest wants to go in there. And we also want the juice. So, oh yeah, and we're going to be putting some oil in it in a minute. So, I'm just going to get the garlic and the chilli into there and have another beer. So we want to zest the lime. I could do it on there, but when you do the zesting, you're actually releasing a lot of those nice essential oils. And so I'm going to try and attempt, even though this blends a bit on the small side, to get the zest directly into it. Now you'll be pleased to know, well, you better not be, there are no history lessons tonight. There's no anything particular about the region it comes from, ingredients, just about the cooking. Oops, that's the top. So I'm just going to zest that into there, and then, like I say, we're going to add the juice. Now, given the amount of juice, I might only actually juice one of these, okay, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of lime juice in it. Oh, that one's a bit more squashy. The other one was really firm, I didn't get much juice out. This older one, ooh, got quite a bit. I've probably got too much juice in there. Who cares? It's all about the flavours. Actually, she does talk in her book about some of the other deer. I don't think she mentioned this one, about fusion, and she said she thinks fusion. At one time, fusion cooking was all the big thing when we're having a fusion of Asian and whatever. And she, well, fusion gives you all the idea, because fusion, you're like, and you're not really doing that. What you're really doing is just mixing things. So she doesn't like the term fusion. I'm sure that's what I did anyway. Right, now 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And if this was where I find out that this blender leaks everywhere, I will not be happy. Now you're going to need your olive oil for your steak. Did I mention we're having steak? So we now just want to blitz that all together so it's all like a nice smooth paste or whatever. Here we go. Here goes nothing. This actually has got a little timer on it. I could go like, let's give it that and go. Oh, I thought that was 5 minutes. Well, I didn't really want 5 minutes. The only thing that worries me is I wonder what happens when I take that lid off. Now, it has made a nice dressing, but this is the point where I remember what I also meant to have added is some salt and pepper. So I'm just adding grinder pepper, and then a generous pinch of salt, the Maldon sea flakes, and then we're going to put the lid back on, and we're just going to blend that in. Oh, it's here. Oh, it's here. Exterminate! Oh, it stopped. It's like a mini little Dalek in it, without the sink plungers. The next thing is we're going to sort of start preparing the salad bit. So you're going to want 1 large red onion. We ended up with not very large red onions, so I've got 2. And what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm just going to cut them in half. Before I do that, I'm just going to remove the peel. So you essentially want like half moon shapes. Okay, so I've left the root on there, so it holds it together a bit better. That bugger's being a bit of a bugger to peel. And then, excuse me, I need a drink. And what we're essentially going to do is cut it into quite thick, well, not thick, but like not like micro thin slices, and just chuck them into a big bowl, because this is where everything's going to end up. Okay, so I'm just going to do the rest of that onion. Now what we're making is essentially enough for 2. Now with the cucumber, we want to peel it. We don't want the green stuff. To be honest, I don't care. I'm quite happy having the green bits, but anyway, we're going to peel it. And then once we peel, this is a half a large cucumber, this is, by the way. Get that in a bit now. And then we're going to slice it in half long ways. Come off, you We're going to slice it in half lengthways. And I've got some room here without all this pressure. And then I'm just going to use my melon baller, as it were. Is that the big one? Just to deseed it. Bloody awkward little bit. Go around the bleeding place, don't go straight line. Just want to make a fucking mess, basically. Get rid of the seedy bits, and then that can do. You're going to cut these into quite chunky half moon shapes, and guess where they're going? What? They're going in there with the onion. Okay, so the only final thing to go in there is some herbs. I've got 3 herbs here. I've got a generous handful of basil, a generous handful of dill. I've taken the bigger stalks off the dill, but I'm not worried about the little ones, and a generous handful of coriander. And all we're going to do is just roughly chop up. Oh, actually, try and take the top off his thumb. We're just going to roughly chop up each of those herbs and then toss them in there with the rest of the salad stuff. And then, apart from adding the honey into that and the pomegranates to go in at the end, our final thing is cook the steak or the beef. She says, like, do the cook it first, and then you sort of only cook it very briefly, and then put it one side and then do all this. So I've done it the other way around. Oh, we need another beer. So I'm just going to chop up the rest of them herbs roughly, like I said, chuck them in there. We are going to be mixing everything later, so I'm not too worried at this stage. Matter of fact, I've got layers. I ain't got that dill chop yet. And we're making a bloody mess here. Bloody messy bastard. So there's all the salad in there. Put that on one side. Okay, we've still got to finish off our dressing. Before we do that, we're going to take our steak. Now, she said use about 300 grams, 2 people. I think there's about 400 here. Simply because that's how it came. But it's a steak each. So, I'm going to take that steak and I'm going to trim off them grotty bits. Because we don't want them, do we? And then we want to cut it up into cubes. Okay. Manky bit. Actually, that don't look too nice either, but anyway. So we're just going to cut that up into sort of rough bite-sized cubes. And then you can chuck that in a bowl, like I've got there, probably just out of shot. Okay. And then we are almost there. What we're going to do is we are going to dress the steak with a bit of oil. So there's my steak in there, and I'm now just going to season well with pepper, and then put some herbs in there. Now take up a dry frying pan, paddy cleaner, not top off. And then we're going to put it on a medium to sort of high heat. Okay, I'm going to put it on high on this because that's the little burner. Then get the pan nice and hot, get them bits out of there. And then we're going to, so at the moment we've not added any salt, just added the steak and the pepper, and I'm going to drizzle on a little bit of oil. Hopefully that should be enough. And then we just want to massage all that oil and pepper into that beef. Now, even though we bought more beef than she suggested, if you look, really, to be honest, there ain't an awful lot there for 2 people, is there? But anyway, there you go. Probably had a little bit too much oil, but who cares? So we're not all in the pan, we're not frying it in the pan, and now all we've got to do is wait for that to get hot and drink a beer in the meantime. That wants to be fucking hot. So when that pan is hot, chuck that steak in there. You can hear it sizzling away. Whoop. And then we'll get rid of that glove, because what we want to do now is get some salt and just sprinkle a little bit of salt on. Now, we're leaving that now, not stirring it, we're letting that cook for about a minute. And then we're going to sort of try and cook it. Okay, we essentially just want to sear all the sides. Okay, we're not trying to cook it, well, it's up to you, to be honest. If you like your steak well done, then you obviously want to cook it so it's well done. But you don't necessarily need to. Just get it turning. Try and turn it so I'm not constantly stirring it. And we just want to sear each side. Now, when that's done, we're going to take it off the heat and just put it to one side, finish our dressing, and then we're ready to assemble. I think that's done enough. The wife likes it quite rare, as it were. So at this point, we're going to turn the heat off, and we're just going to remove it from that heat and put it over there. So, going back to our blender, we now want to add some honey. And we want about a tablespoon of clear honey. There you go, that'll do. Get that out of the way. And then we're just going to blend that in. She says use 50 grams of pomegranate seeds. These come in 80, so we're having the old blend up. Okay. Shame not to waste them. In they go. In goes that dressing, and it has all nicely dressed down, as it were. Okay, I thought I might have some lumps in the bottom there. And then we're going to take that steak, which is just cooled a little bit. Oops. Try to just drain off the juices a little bit. In that goes. And then we're going to toss it all together. Okay. Now what we want to do is just toss all this together, get everything coated, everything mixed up. Now, it surprised me a little bit here because when you look at the pictures in her book, the primary ingredient seems to be the beef. And given I've used more beef than she said, and I've used the same amount of other stuff, the beef is a little bit lost in there, isn't it? So, once we're happy that's all thoroughly tossed together, We're going to plate it up and taste it. Time for a little taster. Let's try a bit of cucumber and a bit of onion and herbs and dressing. Dressing isn't too tangy. Definitely hit of chilli and a bit of sweetness. Let's try a bit of beef. Beef is not too well done, but there again, it just depends how you like your beef, isn't it? A bit of onion, bit of herbs, bit of pomegranate. Just a nice semi-warm, although it's not that warm anymore, spicy beef, cucumber and herb salad. From the book Flavour, full of flavour.